Oh, my gracious. It was a legendary call from Vern Lundquist for a legendary shot. Phil Mickelson holding out from the sand at 5. Phil, one of the greatest short game players of all time. And that is going to be the iconic shot of this incredible win for Phil Mickelson at the PGA Championship. So how did he get it done? Let's go inside the making of that shot with legendary golf instructor Michael Breed. Michael, take us into things here because, you know, we think of Phil for his short game, those flop shots. This one, though, is going to live on forever.
Well, and it came at an important time, too, as well, Chris. And I mean, look, the guy had been making some bogeys. There's no question about it. He was inconsistent and uncomfortable, and he got into this bunker, and he hit a shot that we're all going to remember, but it's not atypical for Phil Mickelson. How does he do it? Well, the first thing what I want you to pay attention to is this right here. The knee flex, tons and tons of knee flex that he has coming into that shot. Now, as he starts to let this club get into the sand, I want you to pay attention to a couple of things. One, he's maintaining the level of the knees. But two, look at where his impact into the sand is right there. You can see he's well into the sand behind the ball. It's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches as he goes through. And then the third thing, and I want you to see this because this is awesome. What he does is he continues to work the hands in a position where the club face right here, pay attention to this club face. I'm going to erase that. You can see how it's still pointed to the sky. So when we start to realize how to play a great bunker shot, it starts with knee flex. You got to get in here. You got to add a lot of knee flex here. Make sure the handle stays down. That club face is going to be in an open position. And when we drive this down, I want to get this club into the sand before the ball and then keep the sand in an open position. I mean, keep the sand wedge in an open position here. Slide it under just like that. Make sure you keep those knees flexed as you're coming through there, and you're going to have no problem with that. Chris, I know you've been taking notes. You got this all covered, all right, my friend?
I've been trying to get out of the sand for 20-some years. It's a great lesson. And the knee flex, I mean, that's the biggest thing I feel like for amateurs. And just kind of think about it, hit behind the ball. A lot of people think, you know, clip the ball, and it just doesn't work that way, or at least not consistently. So you mentioned that was in such a pivotal moment there with everything kind of going back and forth between Phil and Brooks. And Michael, that set us up for the scene at the 72nd hole, which is a scene that we're all going to remember forever. And look, Phil Mickelson almost got jumped on by somebody. I mean, they lost control. There's no question. I mean, Jim Nantz called it out on the broadcast. It shouldn't have been this way. It made for incredible scenes. I mean, this is one of the all-time scenes in golf history, but it wasn't safe. I mean, I'm sure if you were in that mess, you didn't feel safe. And Brooks Koepka wasn't happy about it. Phil, he was able to win, so he kind of, you know, thumbs up, shrugs it off a little bit. But what's the fallout from this going to be, Michael?
Well, I think there's a couple of different things that you have to be aware of with this situation. One of the things is that the contest, the event, the championship was still going on. In no other sport would you see fans on the field in the culmination of the event. After it's over, yeah, we've seen that through time. But in this particular situation, Brooks Koepka has a chance to make a birdie. And if Phil Mickelson 3 putts, now all of a sudden, we got a playoff. So, and we've seen a bunch of 2-shot swings through the course of this afternoon on Sunday. We saw it happen left and right. So I think there's a couple of things. I think one of the things that took place, Seth Waugh reached out to both Brooks and to Phil and said, look, hey guys, I'm sorry on behalf of the association. We're sorry. We're sorry that you felt vulnerable. Here's a look at this quote. And the word to me, vulnerable, is a big part of this whole thing. We're sorry that you felt vulnerable. And my expectation is this will not happen again. Certainly won't happen again at a PGA Championship. But I don't think that this has a place in the game of golf. Now, we reflect back to another situation that took place a number of years ago with Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy at the Tour Championship. And again, you see the emergence of these iconic players in the game coming through a crowd while the event is still going on. This one to me seemed a little bit worse because, in my opinion, it was still undecided. There was also a situation where a player, or I mean an individual, jumped on Phil Mickelson's back, as you saw right there. Imagine if Phil Mickelson had twisted an ankle, or worse yet, broke a leg. I mean, now what? This could have been so much worse than it was. We think about it as, hey, that was really cool. It was, but only a small part of it was cool. The other part of it was, to Seth Waugh's words, vulnerable for the players, a bad situation, and something that I think will be rectified, no question.
Yeah, probably won't be seeing that again. So save that if you've got it on your DVR, because you might not see it once again. Let's move on. Phil Mickelson is in the field again this week at the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial. He's not the 200-to-1 long shot he was at the PGA, but still a long shot, 50-to-1. Give us a long shot sleeper for this week.
Well, I love Corey Connors this week for a variety of reasons. One, he finished tied 17th at the PGA Championship this past week, and after round one, he was leading. He also, by the way, his statistics were fantastic for the week. He was tied 9th in strokes gained off the tee. He was also 16th in strokes gained approach, picking up almost 5 shots on the field in his strokes gained approach, and he's been that way all year long. 4th in strokes gained approach for the year, 9th in strokes gained off the tee for the year. This is a guy in his 3 appearances here. He finished tied 8th in 18, tied 31st in 2019, and tied 19th in 2020. Now, all that's really impressive, but let me give you some other things that are important to understand. In his last 9 events, he has not missed a cut. He's had 4 top 10s. And in his last 19 events, that goes back all the way to the end of last year, he's missed only 1 cut. This guy is a ball striking, they call him a ball striking Jesse. This guy can hit a golf ball where he's looking. His short game wasn't great at PGA. I think that that's going to get rectified. His putting is streaky. I love Corey Connors as a long shot this week.
His one tour win came in Texas at the Valero Texas Open a couple of years ago. This isn't your typical field after a major championship. I mean, there are some big names. We mentioned Phil. Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas are the 2 favorites, but there are many others to pick from. Who's your winner this week?
I love Collin Morikawa. Why wouldn't you? And often for the same reasons that I love Corey Connors. He's a guy who last week he finished tied 8th at the PGA Championship with a 68 in the final round. He was 3rd in strokes gained off the tee, 8th in strokes gained approach, and he's 1st in strokes gained approach for the year. Also, by the way, 1st in greens in regulation, 6th in driving accuracy. When you think about this event, you've got to get the ball in the fairway. You've got to get the ball onto the green. And Collin Morikawa is that guy. Remember, he won earlier this year in Florida. These are similar type conditions. I love Collin this week. And oh yeah, I think he should have won this event last year. I mean, let's not forget he had a birdie putt at the last with a chance to seal the deal. He couldn't get it done. And then he missed a very, very short putt in the playoff to, I don't want to say hand Daniel Berger the victory, but yeah, he handed Daniel Berger the victory.
And we're kind of coming full circle now. This was the first tournament, the Colonial, out of the pandemic shutdown, and the Charles Schwab Challenge comes back around this weekend. The pick to win, Collin Morikawa. The sleeper from Michael Breed is Corey Connors. Michael, thank you so much for all the insight here on HQ. You can watch much more of Michael on CBS Sports Network. Course Record with Michael Breed. Normally airing Monday nights, so set your DVR, find it, check the local listings, and set a series record for that. It's great stuff from the great teacher, Michael Breed.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.